Hello, everyone. This chess puzzle that I'm about to share is from a Japanese anime series and now Netflix live action called Kakegurui, or in English, Compulsive Gambler. Although the Netflix series decided to call it Bet, it kind of has the same meaning. And since I'm now living in Japan, I thought this would be the perfect time for me to make a video about this one. In the episode, there are two characters, and they're competing to get to the top of this tower of puzzles. And one of the puzzles that they have to solve is this chess position. And the fastest possible checkmate is the answer. It's very easy to tell if the white pieces have a clear advantage. And there's many good moves, but we need to make the best one. So if you want to try to guess what the best move is, now would be a great time to pause because I'm going to go ahead and show the answer now. This is a really great puzzle, by the way. The move, rook to h1. That might come as a surprise. It's kind of a quiet-looking move. How is that the best move? The answer is because this is now a Zugzwang for the black pieces. If you're unfamiliar with Zugzwang, this is probably the best example that I could think of to give you to show that, because a Zugzwang is a type of position in chess where anything that you do will make your position worse. This idea exists in chess because you can't pass your turn. You always have to move a piece. And if we go through all of the options that the black pieces have, anything that they do will now ruin their position and they will get checkmated next move. Let's take a look at a few examples of that. So the first example that I would look at is, okay, let's say that bishop takes knight, right? Capturing pieces is good, usually. Well, notice in capturing that now the h4 square is no longer guarded, and now the rook can go to h4, checkmate. So now let's look at a different move. You might say, okay, well that doesn't work. Well, what if we capture the bishop instead? Well, now notice that previously this bishop had guarded the d5 square. Now, with it no longer protected, the knight can go to d5, checkmate. Let's go back. What if what if we just push a pawn? That shouldn't do any damage, right? Ah, but now the d3 square is no longer guarded. Now you can go to d3, checkmate. And now we're trying to get a little bit creative. What if we played taking the pawn? This is a check. This must distract the white pieces. They have to respond to their king being in danger. They can't just leave him in check. Ah, but notice that the knight can now capture the rook. And this is perhaps the most comical one because the knight previously couldn't go to e2 because the white pawn was on that square. And of course, you can't move your pieces to a square where one of your pieces is already on. That's kind of funny. Also, a subtle point to the rook going to h1 is now the h2 square is available. So let's say the rook goes to e3. You wouldn't capture the rook, that might be tempting to win the rook for your bishop. But notice that the bishop could go to h2, checkmate. Another example would be if the bishop was to go to g5. Well, notice that now the bishop is going to be blocking what previously was an escape square. The bishop is blocking the king from being able to escape. Queen h2 is checkmate. The bishop's kind of a traitor. If it wasn't there, the king could go to g5. The black pieces have a lot of different options at the start here. and every single one of them leads to a checkmate. Usually, you don't see Zugzwangs with so many options available. That's why I think this was a really great puzzle. And the more that I look at it, the more impressed with it I am. And that's especially true because this position was only on the screen for all of 2 seconds. And for someone to go through that much effort to make such a cool looking puzzle and have it be on screen for so little time, that really earns my respect as a chess player because so frequently movies don't even set up the chessboard correctly. So I think that's really cool that they went to the effort on this one to make it look really cool. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.